The conversation in Bangalore, which is on YouTube and you all can see it, you did speak a little bit about how you found her. You actually thought, you'd heard about this, what you thought was a 35-year-old woman who was living without electricity. But could you also tell us why you eventually decided to make the film on her? Because you also had other ideas for this film that you were supposed to make, but you finally decided on making this film with her. So can you tell us a little more about that?
So, when I got to know that there is a woman, 35 years or 40 years old, she's not using electricity, that I was very curious, like why a 35 or 40-year-old woman not using electricity. When I heard about this, I got images that she's living in a normal apartment flat and she's not using, maybe she doesn't have any electricity connection also, like that kind of images I got. So I had almost 15 subjects for documentary before going to shoot. So this was like I was curious because like at least once I'll meet her, then I'll decide whether to do it or not. At least I give it a try. So for that, I was searched for a very long time. So finally, when I found her, so she's 78-year-old. So, and for the first time, when I spoke to her, then I know that, okay, I'm making a film on her. So, and this is my part of FTA. So, we have to make a film in only 12 minutes. So, that is a little bit definitely difficult for me because whatever she spoke, everything was amazing. So, it is very difficult for us to remove a lot of things.
I'll come back to the duration a bit, but I also want to talk about the opening of the film and the story she says of the shirtless man, which so beautifully encapsulates what her life also is like. Do you remember the context in which she told you that story, or was it a part of like the many stories she seems to have told you?
Yeah, like every day she used to tell a lot of stories to us. Like I couldn't include a lot of stories in this film also. So randomly, if she does something, she does something, she will tell a story or tell a small poem or sing a song. I couldn't include the song sequences, but these are the things she used to do. So I felt this story is summing up her whole philosophy. So that's why we kept the story in the opening of the film.
You ask her, there are a couple of questions you ask her in the film. One is about whether people have come to purchase the land. Mm-hmm. You ask her about marriage, you ask her about death. There must have been more questions you may have asked her, but why did you choose to keep these questions in the film?
Because Budhwarpet, where she is living, it is a very bit expensive area and very crowded area. More than expensive, it is a very crowded area. In that kind of area, she is living in very space. You know, you've seen the space, how big it is. So getting that kind of space is very rarely you can see. So I was very curious, like obviously there are many people who tried to kabza that place. So actually eventually they did it. The case is running on the court still. So many people, like that's why I was very curious. Like definitely this land is coming from her parents and everything. So that's why I was very curious to ask about that question. And the second thing is about marriage. So when I met first time, so I learned after 2-3 visits, I learned that she didn't marry. So for me, at that time, definitely it was very curious thing because she's from 50s, 40s. So at that time, she's from India. So at that time, like these conservative values and family things will be very high. So at that time, she didn't not choose to marry. So definitely that was I was very curious. After the shoot, also few people told me that why to include this in the part of the film. But to be honest, this is one of the thing made me curious to make a film on her. So if I remove that, I'm not being honest with me. So that's why I kept it. And the way she told it is very interesting. Giving the Socrates example, that was very interesting. So that's why that in a way telling her philosophy also. That's why I couldn't remove that.
One last question before I open it out. I wanted to ask you how the structure of the film came to be like this, because she doesn't use electricity, so there is no light, and cameras require light to shoot in a particular way. You have used interviews with her. There's also the things that play out on the radio, which is, authored by her. There's also the music she listens to. And there's also the stories she tells you, and there's poetry she just seems to break into. So how did the structure of the film come together?
Actually, as I told you, this is a 12-minute film. So, to be honest, for the first thing, I didn't like the film. Like, when we are editing, it was a 40 minutes cut. First cut was, everything was so beautiful. I'm very happy with the cut. So then, of course, the institute won't accept. So we have to cut it down to 12 minutes. So we hardly removed few chunks. Then finally we got into this thing. So I wanted to tell this 12 minutes film, the first experience what I got when I met her. So that I wanted to give it to the audience with this 12-minute film. So that when I got this idea, then I realized that, okay, I can make it somehow 12 minutes. And about the radio it is a very big coincidence. We were very lucky at that day because yearly only twice the radio program comes. So luckily we got that day. And the another lucky thing is Earth Day. Earth Day also, that day fortunately we got. So all universe supported us.
Hi Ramana,
Hi.
It was a nice film. I want to know how much time did it take and how many visits it took to really shoot the film and get to understand her ideology.
We met a lot of times. I don't really remember, but at least for 2 months we regularly used to go, and we used to go in different timings, like morning 6 to 8 one day, next day 9 to 11, 11 to 1. So to understand a person, it is better, I felt, to go and see than listening what they tell. Like I'll have breakfast in the morning, I'll have lunch in the afternoon. It is better that you go and see. So that's how every day we used to go to in different timings. So first we gained her trust. So that's why she's very free with us. Like she didn't even care about the camera and us also. Thank you.
Throughout the film, we saw that she's completely content where she's living and in her surroundings. And she says that I don't want anything from outside. And then in the credits, I noticed that she's written so many books. So I was curious to see how she felt that. I felt like that was one external connection she was making with the world. So did you have any conversation about why she felt it was important to write?
Really, I didn't had any conversation why she didn't writing. But main thing, she loves this botany and Indology, the subject. So she, as a teacher, she started writing. It is not a recent thing. So from that time, she started writing, and she used to teach children. So whatever she has a knowledge on these books, and very rarely we can see people writing books on trees and dedicating books to trees and cats. So maybe that's how, if I get a chance again, I'll definitely ask this. Thank you so much.
If I could ask you one more question. Do you think that all these constraints that you had, that it only has to be 12 minutes long, there is no light to shoot, and so these limitations push you to be more creative in the way you make the film, and could you give us some examples of perhaps how these limitations pushed your creativity?
I really don't know, after people seeing, they really liked it. So at the first visit, 12 minutes, I was very disappointed only, to be honest. So, but in a way, maybe that really helped me unconsciously. Without a light, it is it is a conscious choice, because if we use lights to shoot her, it is against her philosophy. That's why we wantedly not use any lights. And we use a very limited, only we were 3 or 4 members on the set also. So, yeah.
Who's Manish Bhai that she refers to? And does she have friends in the neighborhood? Because she seems to be sitting outside and looking out. And does she travel outside, so when her book is released or whatever, does she go out and sort of have a social life outside of home?
Manish Bhai is a publisher. He is there in the film, but I couldn't give because of the less time, sorry. he's a publisher, so he will, like, sometimes he will come and little bit take care of her. Every day he brings some milk packet and everything, these kind of sort things. He will do that. And she has a very few friends on in front of her home, like whoever this small time sellers, vendors के साथ उनका, she has a friendship with them. And like when that book released in 2018, that time she went outside for one day. She rarely goes outside. She never goes outside. The doctor also comes to her. I guess the doctor is her student only. So that's why he treats her free with no cost, and he comes every Friday and checks up.
There were so many I mean, you met her so many times before you actually started shooting with her, and I'm sure she had stories to tell you every day. Were there some stories perhaps you asked her to repeat, or were there some parts perhaps you thought you wanted to also capture on camera later?
Actually, I personally doesn't like the staging. So whatever, like, I was like very open whenever I was speaking with her. So few stories she only repeated. I didn't ask. When the context is came, she told those stories, but a lot of stories I couldn't include. Like, she tells beautiful botany poems. That was first time I heard. And she's a huge fan of cinema. And she watched Sounds of Music in Bombay. She went on train from Pune to Bombay to watch that film in 50s. So these are the very things, and she sings Raj Kapoor songs. These are the things. Sorry, I couldn't include this film in this film. So yeah, there are a lot of good things. No, Harichandrachi Factory was the last film she watched.
Thank you so much. It's been wonderful.
Thank you.